So you've had an opportunity to take a look at P&G and Shopify, and you're probably wondering why. Well, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about branding or becoming an employer of choice. Companies who are an employer of choice don't have to spend a lot of money or time recruiting because people come knocking on their door. They reach out and share their message about their corporate culture on social networks like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Snapchat. And they have a distinct advantage in that, again, they're not spending a lot of time and money on recruiting. So let's talk about the first company that you looked at, Shopify. You may not have heard of Shopify in the past, but they were just formed in 2004. They're a completely Canadian company, and what they do is they target entrepreneurs and e-commerce. You or I could start a Shopify business for as low as $30 a month, where we post our products and take transactions. They represent over 1 million businesses with over 175 countries around the world using the Shopify platform for their businesses. As of this year, they have over 5,000 employees. You may have heard about them in the news recently and that they won the bid to host the online cannabis sales in Ontario. That was just one more feather in their cap. Shopify is truly a Canadian success story. They trade on the stock market and they do quite well. If you saw in their video and you looked at the type of people that work at Shopify and the culture that they exemplify, I'm sure you didn't see anybody over the age of 50 in that video. And certainly if you think about their corporate culture that they were exemplifying, open spaces, free lunches, it certainly looks like an interesting place to work. Shopify has dozens of these videos out on YouTube and through their website. And they don't have to spend a lot of money recruiting. Instead, they have the unique position in that they have to cull through the number of resumes that come to them every day. That was for P&G. P&G makes everything from diapers to dishcloths. They are a Fortune 500 company with over $85 billion in sales every year. They're ranked as the fourth place in the world in terms of the most admired businesses. And as you heard in the video, they are 100% promote from within. That means that once you get your foot in the door with P&G, you can expect a long career with them. What they will do is move you around to different business units so that you continue to grow and develop. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get fired at P&G, but it certainly does mean that if you're looking for a long career where a company is going to invest in you, P&G is the place to go. So both of these businesses have that advantage when it comes to recruiting. They have full-time recruiting people and HR people, but instead of them going out into the world to try and find people, they're going through the dozens and hundreds and thousands of resumes that are coming into their business every day. So they have the pick of the litter. Let's talk just in this final piece about career management, developing your talent over time. What is career management? Well, it is a dynamic process that matches the needs of the organization with the needs of you as the employee. When we talk about career management, both you and the company that you work for have an equal part in this process. The employer or the company that you work for, we ask them to do certain things for us. We certainly want to have them provide managers to us who are going to listen to our goals and act as coaches and mentors. We want to ask them to also help us identify our strengths and our areas for improvement. We need and ask for continual feedback on our performance, and we want them to provide us with the training that we need. We also ask them to provide us with self-assessment tools. So in addition to just telling us about our strengths and weaknesses, what kind of tools can the business provide us that will help us understand where we need to improve and where we're strong? And last but not least, we look to the company to provide us with an opportunity for new challenges and for growth. So what is our role in career management? We share an equal part when it comes to managing our own career. We certainly have to identify our skills, abilities, our interests, our knowledge, and what values we have, and also what we offer to the business. It's important that we keep up on our future skills. Our employer won't do this for us. We need to be able to identify what's going on in the marketplace and identify where we see potentially our own skill gap in the future. Hand in hand with that, we have to make sure that we make time for continuous learning to get the training and development that we need. If we don't receive it, we need to request feedback and the self-assessment tools. We shouldn't be operating in a vacuum when we're not sure where we need to improve. And we should request information on possible career paths within the organization. Last but not least, you need to make a plan for your own career. This is critical. If you're ever sitting in front of a supervisor and they ask you, what do you want to do in a year, 5 years, or 10 years, and you don't know, you're going to find yourself in the same job in a year, 5 years, and 10 years. They won't make the plan for you. They're going to ask you what your plan is. Don't be afraid to share with a supervisor what your skills, abilities, and interests are, what's important and valuable to you, and then where you want to be in the future. That's a big part of your own career management. I hope you've enjoyed this chapter as much as I have. This is one of my favorite chapters to teach. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to describe how a firm's strategy affects its recruiting efforts, the advantages and disadvantages of internal versus external recruitment, the methods by which firms recruit internally versus externally, and the techniques organizations can use to improve their recruiting effort. Last but not least, you should be able to describe the importance of career management. This last point relates directly to the assignment that you're going to be completing for this chapter. I hope you enjoy it. I look forward to reading your responses.